Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into the most explosive moments in celebrity culture and talk show drama. Today, we're breaking down what has to be one of the wildest on-air meltdowns of the year. Robert Irwin absolutely losing it live on The View after a heated exchange with the one and only Joy Behar. If you haven't seen the clip yet, buckle up because this is the full breakdown you didn't know you needed. Robert Irwin, the 22-year-old son of the legendary crocodile hunter Steve Irwin, has been carrying on his father's legacy with grace and passion. He's not just riding on his dad's fame, he's built his own empire at Australia Zoo, starring in TV shows, writing books, and advocating for wildlife conservation around the globe. But when he stepped onto the set of The View, a daytime talk show known for its fiery debates and unfiltered opinions, things took a turn no one saw coming. Joy Behar, the veteran co-host who's been on the show since its inception, is famous for her sharp-tonguing no-holds-barred commentary on everything from politics to pop culture. She's never shied away from controversy, often sparking debates that leave guests and viewers alike reeling. On this particular episode, Robert was invited to promote his latest conservation project, a documentary about endangered species in the Australian outback. The segment started off innocently enough, with the hosts gushing over old clips of baby Robert with his dad and some adorable animal footage. Whoopi Goldberg asked light-hearted questions about growing up in the zoo, and Sunny Hosting chimed in about the importance of environmental education. But then Joy Behar leaned in with that signature smirk, and you could feel the tension shift. She started by questioning whether Robert's career was truly his own or just an extension of his father's shadow. "Don't get me wrong, your dad was icon. But are you just coasting on that? What's your original contribution?" she asked pointedly. Robert, ever the polite Aussie, smiled and began explaining his hands-on work with animal rescues, including saving over 500 koalas during the bushfires and launching global awareness campaigns. He emphasized how his mission is to educate the next generation about protecting wildlife, just like his dad did, but with modern twists like social media and virtual reality experiences. But Joy wasn't having it. She interrupted, waving her hand dismissively. "Come on, kid, that's cute, but in the real world, people have real jobs. You're playing with animals all day. How is that solving bigger problems like climate change or social injustice?" The audience gasped, and you could see Robert's face harden. He took a deep breath and fired back, detailing specific programs where his team collaborates with scientists on habitat restoration and anti-poaching efforts. He even mentioned partnerships with international organizations to combat illegal wildlife trade. But Joy doubled down, accusing him of being out of touch with everyday issues, saying, "You're from a privileged background, what do you know about struggle?" At this point, the other hosts tried to intervene, with Alyssa Farah Griffin jumping in to defend Robert's expertise, but the damage was done. Robert's voice rose as he pointed out Joy's lack of research. "If you'd bothered to look into what I do, you'd know we're on the front lines of conservation, risking our lives to save species from extinction. This isn't a game, it's my life's work." The exchange grew more intense, with Joy retorting that he should focus on human rights instead of cuddling crocs. That's when Robert had enough. He stood up, unclipped his mic, and said, "I'm not here to be insulted by someone who clearly hasn't done their homework. Thanks for the invite, but I'm out." He walked off the set, leaving the panel in stunned silence. Whoopi called for a commercial break, and the cameras cut away awkwardly. Social media exploded immediately after, with fans praising Robert for standing his ground and others criticizing Joy for her rudeness. This moment has sparked debates about respect for guests on talk shows and the line between tough questions and personal attacks. In the coming paragraphs, we'll dive deeper into the backstory, analyze the body language, and explore the fallout from this viral clash. Stick around because there's so much more to unpack here. Now, let's rewind a bit and talk about the lead-up to this explosive moment on The View. Robert Irwin has been in the public eye since he was a toddler, literally born into the spotlight during one of his dad's famous wildlife adventures. Steve Irwin's tragic death in 2006 left a void, but Robert, along with his sister Bindi and mom Terry, turned grief into action by expanding Australia Zoo into a world-class conservation hub. Robert's resume is impressive, He's hosted his own series on Animal Planet, authored children's books on animals, and even won awards for his photography of endangered species. Leading up to the View appearance, he was promoting a new initiative to protect the Great Barrier Reef from climate threats, something deeply personal to Australians. The View, on the other hand, has a reputation for mixing entertainment with hard-hitting discussions. Joy Behar, at 83, is the show's longest-serving co-host, known for her liberal views and comedic timing, but also for occasional foot-in-mouth moments. Remember her clashes with Meghan McCain or various politicians? She's no stranger to controversy. Sources say the producers booked Robert to bring some feel-good energy to the show, perhaps to balance out heavier topics like the upcoming elections or global news. But from the moment he sat down, there was an undercurrent of tension. Body language experts have since analyzed the footage. Robert started with open postures, smiling broadly, while Joy crossed her arms early on, signaling skepticism. As the conversation progressed, Robert leaned forward defensively, and Joy's interruptions became more frequent. When she dropped the coasting on fame bomb, Robert's eyes narrowed, and his responses shifted from polite to pointed. He cited statistics on species extinction rates and how his work directly impacts global biodiversity. Joy countered by pivoting to broader societal issues, implying that animal conservation is a luxury pursuit in a world full of human suffering. This philosophical clash of animals versus humans escalated quickly. Robert argued that environmental health affects everyone, from food security to disease prevention, but Joy dismissed it as fluffy talk. The other hosts' reactions were telling. Sarah Haynes looked uncomfortable, trying to steer back to positives, while Ina Navarro nodded along with Joy at times. When Robert finally snapped, removing his mic with a dramatic flourish, it was a mic drop moment for the ages. The studio audience, usually vocal, fell into a hush, broken only by a few awkward claps. Post-show, insiders revealed that the producers were scrambling backstage, with Robert reportedly storming out without further comment. Joy, ever the pro, shrugged it off during the next segment, joking, "Well, that was lively." But the internet didn't let it slide. Hashtags like #TeamRobert and #JoyBehar trended within hours, with celebrities weighing in. Robert Irwin posted a supportive message on Instagram, calling her brother a true warrior for wildlife. Even Elon Musk tweeted about it, saying something cryptic about free speech on TV. This incident highlights the generational divide, a young conservationist clashing with a boomer commentator. In the next section, we'll explore fan reactions and how this affects both careers. Diving into the aftermath, the internet went absolutely berserk after Robert Irwin's walk-off on The View. Within minutes of the segment airing, clips were circulating on TikTok, Twitter and Instagram Reels, amassing millions of views. Fans of the Irwin family rallied behind Robert, praising his composure under fire and calling him a class act for defending his passion without resorting to name-calling. Comments like "Joy Behar needs to retire" that was uncalled for, and "Robert handled that like a boss, Steve would be proud" flooded social media. On the flip side, some defended Joy, arguing she was just asking tough questions to spark debate, as is the show's style. The View is about views, not fluff pieces. One user posted, "Celebrity endorsements poured in." Chris Hemsworth, a fellow Aussie, shared the clip with thumbs up, while PETA applauded Robert's stance on animal rights. Even late-night hosts like Jimmy Fallon referenced it in monologues, joking about crocodile tears on daytime TV. For Robert, this could be a career booster. His follower count spiked by hundreds of thousands overnight, and searches for Australia zoo tours skyrocketed. He since addressed the incident in a calm YouTube video, saying, "I stand by my work, and I won't apologize for passion." As for Joy Behar, she's no stranger to backlash. Remember her suspensions for controversial comments? The View issued a statement emphasizing diverse opinions, but ratings for that episode were through the roof, proving controversy sells. Analysts say this taps into larger cultural tensions: youth versus experience, environmentalism versus humanism, and the ethics of guest treatment on talk shows. Robert's response showcased his maturity. At just 22, he articulated complex ideas without faltering. Joy's persistence, while entertaining, bordered on bullying, according to critics. Breaking down the dialogue, when Joy said, "Get a real job," it echoed outdated views on non-traditional careers. Robert countered with facts. "We've relocated thousands of animals and educated millions. That's real impact." The walk-off was symbolic, echoing past dramatic exits like Tom Cruise's couch jumping but with more restraint. Media outlets from TMZ to CNN covered it, with op-eds debating if talk shows have gone too far. In Australia, it made front-page news, boosting national pride in the Irwin legacy. Looking ahead, will Robert return to The View? Unlikely. But stranger things have happened. Joy might address it in her memoir or podcast. This event reminds us how live TV can turn unpredictable, turning a promo spot into a viral sensation. Stay tuned as we analyze similar past clashes. To truly understand why this exchange hit so hard, let's examine the broader context of celebrity interviews and conservation advocacy. Robert Irwin isn't just a TV personality, he's a frontline warrior in the fight against biodiversity loss. With species vanishing at alarming rates, over 1 million at risk, per UN reports, his work at Australia Zoo involves everything from breeding programs for Sumatran tigers to habitat preservation in the Amazon. Inviting him on The View was meant to highlight these efforts, but Joy Behar's line of questioning veered into personal territory, questioning his authenticity. Joy, with her background in comedy and activism, often challenges guests to think beyond their bubble. Her comments on real jobs might stem from her working-class roots, but they came across as dismissive of non-corporate paths. The clash represents a clash of worlds: Hollywood-adjacent conservation versus urban political commentary. Body language breakdown. Robert's initial smiles faded to clenched jaws, his hands gesturing emphatically as he listed achievements like the Wildlife Warriors Foundation, which has raised millions for conservation. Joy's eye rolls and interruptions fueled the fire, creating a power imbalance. When Robert said, "Your ignorance is showing," it was a turning point, polite but piercing. The walk-off wasn't rage-fueled, it was calculated, preserving his dignity. Post-incident, The View's producers likely reviewed protocols for guest interactions, as similar blow-ups have led to apologies in the past. For viewers, it sparked conversations about respect. Is it fair to grill a young guest on his legacy? Robert's fans argue no, while Joy's supporters say it's the essence of debate TV. This isn't the first time The View has seen drama. Think Elizabeth Hasselbeck's exits or Rosie O'Donnell's feuds. But Robert's youth added vulnerability, making Joy seem like the antagonist. In terms of impact, conservation donations surged, with Australia Zoo reporting a 30% increase in support. Robert used the momentum for good, launching a new campaign on social media. Joy, unfazed, continued hosting, perhaps gaining edgier crowd. Psychologists weigh in. Such confrontations release endorphins for viewers, explaining the viral appeal. As we move forward, this could influence how shows book guests, prioritizing harmony over sparks. But let's be real, drama drives ratings. Expanding on the cultural ripple effects, this Robert Irwin Joy Behar showdown has become a case study in media literacy and generational gaps. Millennials and Gen Z, who grew up idolizing Steve Irwin, see Robert as an extension of that heroic archetype. He brave, enthusiastic, and dedicated to the planet. Joy Behar, representing boomer perspectives, embodies skepticism toward inherited fame, perhaps influenced by her own hard-earned career in stand-up and TV. The exchange highlighted how conservation is often sidelined in mainstream media, treated as cute rather than critical. Robert's defense, "We're saving the world one animal at a time," resonated with eco-conscious audiences facing climate anxiety. Social media memes exploded, photoshopped images of Robert wrestling Joy like a croc, or quotes overlaid on animal pics. Influencers recreated the scene, amplifying the reach. From a business angle, The View's ad revenue likely spiked, while Robert's brand partnerships, like with National Geographic, strengthened. Critics argue Joy's approach was ageist, belittling a young expert, while defenders say it forced depth. Similar incidents, recall Kanye West's Taylor Swift interruption or Ellen's controversial interviews. Here, power dynamics shifted when Robert exited, reclaiming control. Aftermath interviews. Robert on Good Morning America stressed forgiveness but stood firm. Joy on her show quipped, "He'll be back when he needs promo." This fuels ongoing debates on civility and discourse. Globally, it spotlighted Australian conservation, with calls for more funding. For aspiring activists, it's a lesson in handling criticism gracefully. As talk shows evolve, expect more hybrid formats blending entertainment with education. This event proves live TV's raw power. Wrapping up our deep dive, the Robert Irwin meltdown on The View serves as a reminder of the unpredictable nature of live television and the passions that drive public figures. What started as a promotional appearance turned into a defining moment for both parties, showcasing resilience and the importance of standing up for one's beliefs. Robert emerged stronger, his message of conservation reaching new audiences, while Joy reinforced her image as a provocateur. Whether you side with the young conservationist or the seasoned host, this clash underscores the value of respectful dialogue in an increasingly divided world. Thanks for watching. Hit like if you're Team Robert, subscribe for more breakdowns, and comment your thoughts below. Until next time, stay wild.